And also, as a backup, if someone else can also record this, I think it's gonna be great. I flew out from New Zealand to attend your boot camp in Singapore. Uh, Perfect. All right. Okay, we have people recording it now, and I accepted your invitation, so that's good. Anjum Bhai in the building. Nice to see you. Thank you, Jessica, for trying to record this. Appreciate it. We got Ali here. We got Don, King Ray, Shabazz Bhai is here. Eric, get some. Come, get some. Get some is here. Beautiful. Okay. Let's see here now. So I have two systems running at the same time. I have two systems running at the same time, and I don't want to do anything which will break anything. So thank you, Will. Thank you, Tesserolo. Tesserolo. So I'm still getting some things over here that people want to join. So we're just gonna wait 5 minutes until people join. And yeah, so let me do this. So we got an entire system is running over here. Have camera. By the way, we're in the Dominion office here today with the view of the something they're trying to build over here. Let me show you guys the view. Let me turn this camera around. I hope I don't break it. Whoa. Yeah, look at that. Will it autofocus? Oh, it's gonna autofocus. Got a pillar in the building, and then we are officially in the Dominion office at this point. All right, let's put this back. We're in Dubai, Business Bay. We are in Business Bay. Yeah, we're in Business Bay. We are 100% operational. So we got 79 people here. Um, Also, what I tell you guys is that whoever is here today and whoever signed up to the virtual class, if you guys are a client at Dominion Markets, you guys are going to be placed in a special group, and in that group, you'll only pay $5 per one lot commissions because normally it's $7 per one lot. So we're going to go with $5 per one lot commission for everyone who is here, and if you're a client at Dominion Markets, because normally it's only reserved for clients who deposit 100,000 plus. Before it was 250,000, then we did 100,000, but now anyone who's over here, this is like my offer to everyone. And like if let's say someone pays $7 per commission, we pay a little bit in liquidity. So like this is something that we're gonna offer you guys. Where is the Zoom link at? Yeah, I knew someone's not going to be able to sign in. I knew it. So let me just post it right here. Where is the Zoom link at? Okay. All right. So let me do this over here now. I'm just going to make a story for people if someone can't find a Zoom link, they'll just be able to email. All right. Then you register. Okay, just gonna send a message to, hey brother, how are you? Just want to ask where can I find a link to a virtual boot camp, to the virtual boot camp? Yeah, all the links should be in your email. All right, let's do this over here. Yes, hello, Mr. Hassan. So some people can't. join. I don't know. They're not checking their emails or whatever. So I made a story. So people are gonna email that email, which we have bootcamp@market3d.com. Just verify their email addresses and then just send them the link. I do hope everyone can come into the Slack here later on. Okay, anyway, so let's get this on the road, and then we're gonna go over what are we gonna be discussing here today. All right. So, one thing I want to point out is that this is where we're going to take you from the very, very basics of like currency pairs, times of volume, the software to use, the template to choose for smart logic concept candles, all the way into like, impulse entry, fake outs. Fake outs I'll try to cover. Fake outs I'll try to cover on the fourth day because it's not that important, because at the end of the day it all depends on how you read candles and is there really volume in the market or not. So all those things matter at that point. Yeah. So day one, what's this? Deny. What's this? All right, deny. Let's see over here. So what we're gonna do is there a separate Slack, or we will get the end of the masterclass? You'll get everything at the end of today. By the end of today, you'll get everything. I wish I could. Yeah. So can we get a recording? Guys, listen. These fucking stupid questions, just keep them to yourself, right? Can we get the recording? Where will the recording be? I'm just going to remove you, refund your fee because I don't need this. Like, what are you, 5 years old? Of course you're going to get the recording. Okay, let's continue. So I'm going to ignore every comment. I'm going to ignore everything that comes in. Can we pin a message over here? I will ignore every comment till the end of today. Yeah, this is going to be good. Keep your questions till the end. All right, perfect. Oh, I can't pin this. So here's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I don't know how to close the chat. So we're just going to continue on. Perfect. So day one. Today we're going to do introduction to MetaTrader 5. We're going to do introduction to how to set up the platform. So we're going to go for about 2 hours. We're going to take a break for about 15, 20 minutes, and then we're going to continue on for another hour and a half, 2 hours. That's going to be day one. We're also going to look at best sessions to trade based on your choice of currency pair. We're also going to look at time frames. And the most important thing that I realized is that looking at the 4-hour time frames, trying to understand that which session falls within which time frame. That's going to be very important. Time frames that also correlate with volume sessions, and then we're going to go on with candle basics, currency pairs, zones, ranges, and at the end of the day, we're going to have live question and answer session. Awesome. So let's do this over here. Now everyone's good with volume? Perfect. All right, so what do we want to do? We want to set up our MetaTrader. So we will try to share our screen here now. Let's see. Okay, perfect. We all can see our screen at this point, right? There should be no confusion. We can all see our screen. This is the platform that I use. This is MetaTrader 5. So whenever you start up the platform, you're going to see a lot of confusion happening right over here, right? These are all your indicators, and indicators are always lagging indicators, right? Now, when I first started in the beginning, so let me tell you a quick breakdown of how things started for me. So when I first started in the beginning, I thought that, okay, maybe if I use a lot of indicators, this is basically going to tell me where price is going to move, and I'm going to be able to take a trade and say that, okay, now we can continue to move bullish or bearish or whatever the case may be. Now, if we look at that chart now, let's say we're looking at an indicator called STOCH, right? And I would say, okay, you know what? It's at the bottom. This means a buy. But when I really start to look at the candles, when I really start to study, price action, I realized that indicators are always going to be behind prices. It's not always going to be the case that the indicators are going to tell you exactly where prices are going to go. Price action, the way the candles are forming, the way there's volume in the market is going to be only thing that's going to tell you where price is going to go. So we're going to set up our MetaTrader based on how you're able to read the candles correctly. So the first thing you want to do is you want to remove all indicators. So we right click right here, we delete indicator, right click right here, we delete, delete, delete. Oh, all right. Let's see over here. There we go. Delete indicator. See how tough these indicators are to delete? Because this is the main reason why people fail a lot of time, because it's really hard to get rid of them. Okay, perfect. We got rid of that. Let's get rid of this like this. So we have an EMA right here. Let's get rid of this. Now, we want to look at clean price action, right? Without looking at clean price action, we're never going to be able to know where price is going to go, because I'm a firm believer that if we cannot look at the candles and if we can't identify where price is going to move based on just looking at the candles, there's no indicator in the world which is going to tell us where price is going to go. So we're going to clean up the chart. I like clean charts. Right click, and then we go to properties. Going to properties, I'm going to remove this grid. Grid is going to be, I need no grid over here. I need, let's say, black and white, right? Black and white, no grid. Perfect. Now, we got our chart set up just like this. Now, the next thing that we want to do is we want to move the candles to the other side. No, we want to move the candles to the other side so that we have clean space here to the right-hand side. Now, this may look really simple, but a lot of people still don't know this. Up over here, you see all your tools, right? All your tools at this point. These are tools that will help you plot your charts better. All these tools are going to basically help you like how you want to read charts. Now, first things first, let's say, for example, you don't have your shapes. So let me, line study, let me remove my shapes. And let's say you don't have your time frames. That's it. It's all removed. How to get these on your charts? Very simple. You go to insert, because you have to insert things in the application. So you click insert. You go to indicators, we don't need indicator. You go to objects, we don't need objects. You go to experts, we don't need this. We don't need this. Sorry, I lied. That's not how you do it. You just right click here in the top. Oh, go all the way over. Oh, I fucked up. All right, you right click here and then you click line studies. You're going to have line studies. You right click right here again and you're going to get time frames. You can move this up over here as well. Now, if you want to move your chart to the left-hand side, there's a button right here. This says shift end of the chart from the right border. So that's the right border to your right-hand side, and then you click that, and the chart moves. Next, sometimes, guys say, hey, Raja, how do you, move your chart freely, like on TradingView, and I can't do that. It's super hard. It's super simple. See this icon, scroll the chart to the end on tick incoming. This basically means to be able to move the chart all the way to the left-hand side. Right now it's locked. So if I click this, now I can move my chart to the left-hand side. Okay. Next, I want to be able to move the chart up and down like you do on TradingView. So this is what we do. We right click, we go to properties, and we go to common. From here, we click on scale fix and we hit OK. And now you're going to notice there's going to be a black line on the right hand side. That's basically going to tell you where price is going to move. All right, let's see over here. One moment here. Okay, right from here, you can move it up and down, And now you can move your chart up and down. And even if you move to the left-hand side, you can still move your chart up and down. It's super, super simple at this point. Okay, one moment here. I'll be right back. All right. Uh, let's see this. Perfect. Right? MetaTrader, so far, super simple. Shouldn't have any issues at this point. Next, what we want to do is we see that there's a thing called algo trading on the left-hand side on the top end. This algo trading, this works perfectly if you have your magic keys. Once you have your magic keys, algo trading is going to work perfectly well. Next, we're going to take a look at how to draw zones on the chart. Usman C is trying to record, deny. Okay. Now, how to draw zones on the charts? It's also very simple. You see on the top, you have a draw a rectangle, and you just do this. Now, initially, it's not going to look like this. So the best thing to do is we need to adjust the settings of drawing these rectangles. So if this is the first time you're looking at MetaTrader 5, these indications are very important because you want things to look very crisp, very clean. So we're going to go over how to adjust these settings. So you see at the corners, you see these squares. So all you got to do is double click these squares. You right click it. Hey, Jason, nice standing desk you have over there. All right. So you right click this, you go to properties, and there we go. Now you got your settings, style, whatever you want to have color on it. I like to have the gray color, parameters, and yeah, that's about it, right? And here you can change these settings here to whatever you want. Now, initially, if you're going to draw the rectangle, what you're going to get is you're going to get is a red rectangle, which may look like this, right? So you're going to notice that it's not filled with color. Now, there's a specific setting that you have to choose. So if you go to properties, and then let's say I want to change the color to same, like, dark gray or whatever, and you go to parameters, right here, you're going to see fill. I hit fill, I hit OK, and there we go. We got our thing right away. Our rectangle is right here. Now, as we move along with the class, we're also going to slowly start to, see how we can plot our zones, how we can do some basic chart work. I think that's going to be on next Friday, because initially we're just going to go over simple things to get you prepared for next week. And also we have NFP today. If you guys want, we can trade NFP. Right? Cool. Perfect. NFP is easy, man. Buy stops, sell stops, and just hope for the best. That's it. That's what would I do with NFP. All right, perfect. So then we can also draw zones up over here. Next, we have lines. Lines is also very simple. Anything that you see in MetaTrader, everything right here is very, very customizable. Like you see these lines, you can customize these. You can see the rectangles. You can also customize them. It's actually very simple. So just give me a moment over here. Okay, next we have on the left-hand side, you have all your pairs here to the left. And from here, you can kind of like see that which pair you want to choose, right? So if let's say I like this template, because if I bring on a new pair, let's say I bring on USDJPY and I bring on a chart window, my chart window is going to look like this. Now, what I want to do is that whenever I open up a new currency pair, I want the same chart template to be added to the new one. And what you want to do is you want to save this template first. All you got to do is hit right click, you go to templates, and you save template. And the name I'm going to give over here is virtual class template. Template, right? I save it. And if I go to UCJPY, I right click, I go to templates and virtual class template, boom, got this right over here, right? And also one thing I want to know, I want to point out is that a lot of people look at the charts like this, right? If you're looking at the charts all zoomed out, you can't see candles. You don't know what candles are doing. You can't see candles. And then I see guys doing like, oh, we have a trend line going up over here. We broke down over here and we have another line moving like this. And then maybe we can go up and then we can, come down and then we can continue to move up. Like all this bullshit. It's very difficult to analyze price like this. So what I like to do is my favorite way of looking at the charts is I zoom in, right? I zoom in and that's how I look at this is how I like to look at the charts. I zoom in, I want to see exactly what the candles are doing. Now I know that, okay, if we have a resistance over here, and if we do break up, there's a potential move for price to move up for about 20 pips. In the same instance, we have a support down over here, and so I like to look at the candles. You have to zoom in enough where you can look at the candles and you can say that, okay, you know what? This is what's going to work for me. Now let's see over here. If I right click, go to templates, Raja Banks. Now this is my template, right? If you guys want this template, I'm gonna send the file over in the Slack group, and then it's all up to you how you can load this template up to your MetaTrader. If I go to properties, colors, okay. If you want to screenshot this, take a picture of these, perfect, you can do that. I'm gonna count till 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. And don't worry, I'm going to give you guys this template as well. This is my favorite template to use. Now, also sometimes guys say, oh, you know what? If you have the same colors on your charts, if you have the same, like let's say all candles are black or all are white or all are blue or purple, you're going to trade better because you're not going to, give certain importance to a red candle or blue candle. That's all garbage. It doesn't work like that. If a candle is going to move up, the candle is going to move up. If the candle is going to move down, it's going to move down. No color in the world is going to dictate whether the candle is moving up or down. That all depends on your psychology, on how you see things at that point, right? That's not going to be the best case scenario for that. So we looked at this. We looked at MetaTrader 5, very simple. The more you use the software, the more you're going to start to understand how this works, and how to better be prepared for it. It all comes down to practice. The more you practice, the more you're going to learn. There's a very famous quote that's been flowing around recently, and that quote means the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out, right? So the more you play with this, the more you're going to find out, okay, I can do this with this, I can do that with this. And also YouTube, man, just go on YouTube and figure out what you can do, because I wanted to see how to move charts up and down like TradingView. I Googled that on YouTube and then the video was right there. I'll just hit scale fix and you can basically move your charts up and down, right? And that was as simple as that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move over to currency pairs and we're going to move over to sessions, right? We're going to look at which session is going to suit you best to trade. And then we're going to see what currency pairs are there. We're going to look into time frames and all that fun stuff. So let's do this over here. All right. So first thing I want to do is I want to stop this at this point. All right. Let's see here. We have any questions? No, no questions. Incredible. We are all being patient. Perfect. All right. Let's do this over here. All right. Perfect. Um, Now what I want to know is how many sessions are there? So we basically all know there are three. We total have three sessions in the market. And when I first started, I knew that, okay, if I'm going to trade the Asian session and if I'm going to trade the London session and New York session, I'm going to have a lot of opportunities to make a lot of money. And I'm going to have a lot of opportunities to kind of like, trade at any time and things are going to work out perfectly well. So I'm going to tell you how it all started for me. So when I first started trading, oh, what's this over here? Fahad is trying to draw a line. Yeah, you can draw lines over here. Let's just remove this line here. Disable annotations and let's do this over here. All right. So when I first started, I was like, okay, what time works best for me to trade? And I knew that, okay, early in the morning is the best time for me to trade. And for me now, I'm going to put all times in Eastern time zones. For me, the best time that worked was 5 a.m. till 8 a.m. Eastern time. And I knew that if I can wake up at 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Eastern time, that's going to be my pre New York session, which I can trade and then I can call it a day. So in the beginning, when I first started in 2016, we were in Canada. So the only thing that made sense for us to trade was basically USD CAD. And there was a very good reason for that because when we were in Canada, we had CAD and then USD was right over there. So we had USD. So trading USD was perfectly normal. We stuck around with USD CAD. Now, I'm also going to tell you our strategy back then because in the first 2 months, 2 to 3 months, I was very profitable. I started with a $500 account and this one simple strategy that we were using, it made us like crazy returns. My initial start was $700 and all we knew was something very simple, very basic, and that was buy support and sell resistance. Now, the way we did that was we looked at only the 4 hour time frame. And all we did was that, okay, if we can look at the 4 hour time frame on USD CAD, and if price is going to be at support, we're going to take a buy, and the stop loss is going to be around, 10 to 15 pips, and we're going to go with that. That's all what we did. We're like, okay, if the 4 hour candles are at support, we're going to take a buy, 10 to 15 stops, and we'll let the price run. And price was running for about 20 pips, 30 pips. And I was making $200 a day, $150 a day on a let's say like $1,000 account. Because at that point we didn't know about risk management. All we were doing was that, okay, if I lose a trade, I'm going to lose $50. But if I win a trade, I'm going to win $200, $150, and things are going to be okay. So we did that for about, a month. And then a huge problem started. What started to happen after a while was that I started to figure out that, okay, I'm trading first thing in the morning, right? I'm looking at one or two trades, and then I go to work. And once I go to work, so we had a sales office, and once we would send our sales guys out to the field, we had 3-4 hours to kill. And when you have 3-4 hours to kill, now you're looking at times of 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Eastern till 12 noon. Now, when I'm looking at times from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, I'm like, wait a minute, price is moving at this point. So if price is moving at this point, maybe I can take some trades. Maybe I can make some extra money while I make money because my agents are out in the field and we're working at my day job. So I'm like, this is a fantastic idea. And that's what I started to do. So all the money that I was making right over here, I started to risk that during a time when, like, volume starts to die down. And then you can guess what happened, right? All the money that I would make in my New York session, I would risk it during like this time, and I start to lose those profits. Now, when I start to lose those profits, like the genius I am, I was like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm losing profits at this point. What's the next session we have? The next session we have is the Asian session, right? Which starts at about 6 p.m. Eastern time. And I was like, perfect, let's trade at the Asian session. So I started trading at the Asian session. And that Asian session for me is low volume time because not many currencies are open at that time. And we're going to talk about that as well. So I started trading the Asian session and I started to lose in the Asian session. And once I started to lose in the Asian session, I started to incorporate the London session in my time as well. Now in Canada, London session starts at about 2 a.m. Then you got the London Open at 3 a.m. and I would go till about 3:30 a.m. Eastern. So my routine was I'd come home, I'd trade the Asian session, then I would have dinner with my wife, and then we'd go to bed. Then I would wake up at 2 a.m. I would trade the London session. My wife would say, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, no, you know what? I got to trade the London session. I got to work. This is my side hustle. And I want to make my side hustle to the point where I can quit working at my business. And this is going to be our full-time income. And we're going to be rich because the first month and a half, I turned $700 to $5,000, right? And I had that in my mind that, okay, if I can do this once, I can do this a million times over. So I got to keep trading these sessions. So I'd wake up at 2 a.m. I would trade till 3:30. At 3:30, I would go to bed, and then I would wake up back again at 5 a.m. So I got into this vicious cycle of trading New York session and Asian session and then London session and just fucking up my sleep schedule. So once you're starting to go into the deep cycle, you can't help but start to look at, pairs like Australian, New Zealand dollar. There was a time we were trading USD ZAR for some apparent reason. We start to look at GBP, JPY. There's some time, we fucked around with USD ruble for some reason, because then your mind starts to go in overdrive and you start to look at all these pairs because you start to think that, okay, if I'm losing on gold or if I'm losing on pound yen, maybe let me try Australian dollar. Maybe let me try gold versus Australian dollar. Maybe let me try Australian dollar against the yen. So you start to look at all these things, and then you go into this vicious cycle of over trading and over risking. And when you look at your history, some of you guys are laughing at this point, and part of the reason why is because if you look at your trading history is going to look the same, right? Some days you come on the charts and you see, okay, gold is not moving or pound yen is not moving. Let me take a look at a pair my buddy trades because he makes money on it. Or let me look at a pair that's moving at that time. I haven't traded that, but maybe I'll make money on it, So that's what started to happen to me in the beginning. And I went into this cycle of over trading and over risking and just losing and losing and losing. And when you go into that position of losing all the time and market is just hammering you every single day, you're like, man, what's going on at this point? Because I'm really good at business, right? I can manage my agents. Where we were doing about $250,000 to $300,000 a year take home from our business. We were excellent in every possible way, and I'm sure I have a lot of business people in the group right now, guys who do well at their jobs, who do well at their business, who do well at managing people and all of that. But when it comes towards trading, we just suck. We can't save our life from trading, right? So, and I'm going to tell you this again. When you're trying to trade, the work ethic needed in trading is completely different than the work ethic we have at our regular jobs or at the regular things we do. It's totally different because when we have a job, the more work we put in, our reward is going to be bigger. When it comes towards trading, the more work we put in, we're going to lose money in it. More money we're going to lose in it. So it's the psychology is totally different. We have a lot of guys there from the boot camp here as well. And You guys can really attest to this, that here in trading, you need to put the least amount of work, the least amount of work. So what happened was, at that point, my mentor was Ted, and I was talking to him, hey man, I've been trading for this long, and man, I'm just over trading. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I don't want to go and take another course. I don't want to jump around courses because I know how to make money. I knew I made money in the first month and a half, but I don't know what the fuck is going on now because I can't make this work. And he said to me something which I still cherish to this day. He said to me that look at all the previous trades you've taken and try to explain to yourself what were you doing in that first month and a half. So I was like, okay, let me do this. So I looked at all my previous trades I took, and there were two things that I were doing in the first month and a half, and it blew my mind. Are you guys ready? Those two things were very simple. I was not over trading and I was not over leveraging. I was only looking at USD CAD, and I was only looking at USD JPY. These are the only two pairs I was trading back then. This was my game plan in the beginning: USD CAD and USD JPY, and I was only trading the New York session. That's it. There's no other session I was trading. I was only looking at New York session. Specifically, this was only pre-New York till New York Open. That's all what I was looking at. I was taking one trade or two trades max, and then I would go to my office. I would do my work. I would handle business. I would come home, spend time with my wife. I didn't have kids at that time. Spend time with my parents, and then go to bed, wake up, same time, pre-New York Open, one or two trades, and we would call it a day. Win or loss, And also another very important thing we were doing, we had a stop loss at about, 10 to 15 pips, like monkeys, like clockwork. There was no confusion about this. We got stopped out. We still did what we had to do during the day, and then we would just wake up the next day and just do the whole thing over and over again. That's all what we did. And guys ask me all the time that, hey man, it's really good to see you. Thank you, William. And guys ask me all the time, what's the best way to understand or what's the best way to stop over trading? You need to know what time do you have in your life that you can dedicate towards trading. That's very important. So you need to take a look at your own life. So let me do this right here. Right? You need to dedicate the time that you have free. For some people, maybe you guys have mornings free. Some people maybe have afternoons free. Some people maybe have your nights free. So you need to decide what time you have free in your life. And then you could say that, okay, maybe if I have afternoon free, depending on what time zone you're in, you can say that, okay, maybe New York session falls in my time zone, or you can say Asian session falls in my time zone, or London session or whatever. So you need to dedicate that. Which time do you have? So I'm going to talk about my example, right? So I'm in a time zone, in the Dubai time zone, and the best time that I have free for myself is when I have, London till pre-New York, the time that I have in my life. In my life, I have the afternoon till evening time. So I'm going to put this right over here. I have afternoon till evening time. And in this time frame, I have London session till pre-New York, and I'm just going to say New York session, right? That's the time that falls within my time zone. Now, once you have figured out that what time you have free for yourself as an individual, then you need to decide what session falls in that time zone. So what we're going to do is we're going to list the trading sessions, and then we're going to list which currency pairs are best to trade within those trading sessions. So we're all just going on theory at this point. So the first, we have pre-Asian, we have Asian session, Asian Open, We have pre-London. We have London session. What comes after London session? We have pre-New York. Pre-New York, we have NY Open. NY Open. Wow, we have a lot of them. We have NYSE, New York Stock Exchange Open, and the last one, we have London Close. Now, I'm not going to talk about New York Close because New York Close generally doesn't have enough volume. There's also some volume around 2 p.m. Eastern time, which is normally we have FOMC, but we're also not going to talk about that. All the questions will be answered at the end. William, what time would the 4-hour candle close Eastern, which you would take in the morning? Man, trust me, all this is going to be answered. Everything is going to be answered. Any question you have, if you keep the question to yourself for 2 hours, it's going to be answered. And also at the end, you can do live question and answers, no problem. So I'm just going to go over time frames right here of pre-Asian in Eastern Standard, right? So all times are in EST because I'm so used to EST. I've been living in the Eastern Standard Time for about 10 years. I still haven't correlated my times with Dubai. So we're gonna go with pre-Asian. Pre-Asian session is normally from 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. All right, so let me change this right here to all right, so do this. Let's change it to blue. All right, perfect. Right? Pre-Asian is from 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. Eastern. Next, you have the Asian Open. Asian Open goes from 8 p.m. and I would say almost till 9:30 p.m. Eastern. After Asian Open, the favorite session that I've been trading for so long now is our London session. London is like a hit and miss between 1 and 1:30 a.m. Eastern, goes all the way till 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then you got the London Open, 3 a.m. Eastern, goes all the way till I would say 4:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We have pre-New York. Pre-New York, lately pre-New York hasn't had a lot of volume. So whenever we talk about pre-London, pre-Asian, pre-New York, pre means before the actual market opens, where the market is basically processing the orders from the previous day or from the previous session, and then making sure that, okay, where volume can move at that time. So pre-New York, I'd say from 6:30 a.m. Eastern all the way till 8 a.m. Eastern Time. New York Open, a lot of volume at this time. This comes at 8 a.m., goes all the way till 9:30 a.m. And then you have the NY Open, NYSE Open. This is obviously at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, lots of volume at this time. London closed at 10 a.m. Eastern, all the way till I would say 11:30. I've seen volume come in at about 11:30 a.m. Eastern as well at London close. So all these that we see over here, this is the time when there's a